Alright guys, so today we're gonna be reacting to why isn't Austria part of Germany, or why Austria is not part of Germany. This has been a confusing on mine, since I know both countries have share a lot of history, and I think they almost speak the same language. I don't wanna say they speak the same language, but almost the same language. Recognizing that those two countries has a lot of history, and we know back in the beginning of the 20th century, we're talking about Second World War, or the First World War, they were kind of together, right? Even though in the Second World War, Austria became part of Germany. After that, of course, they split and they're just two separate countries. But I'm just curious, and I want to just react with this. I want to react to this video with you guys. Make sure you like to subscribe. We're just gonna jump in. You guys know how I just work, so let's go.
Why isn't Austria a part of Germany? Well, for a long time, Austria was technically just one among many, many German states. But together, along with a few other regions, they all made up the Holy Roman Empire, sort of a Germany 1.0. From the mid-15th century until the empire's dissolution, the Holy Roman Emperor and the Archduke of Austria were the same person, except for a quick break between 1742 and 1765. That fact, combined with Austria's ruling house, the von Habsburgs, control over other lands outside of the empire, notably the Kingdom of Hungary, made Austria the most powerful of all the German states, and they dominated the region for over 300 years.
Wow.
But as time went on, the title Holy Roman Emperor came to be much more about prestige than anything else, and by the mid-1700s, the member states of the Holy Roman Empire were free to
Look at that, bro. Oh, wow. Man.
Act in pretty much any manner they saw fit, including waging war against the Austrians. Between 1740 and 1763, Frederick the Great's Kingdom of Prussia, which wasn't really a part of the empire, but the Prussians also ruled over the electorate of Brandenburg, which was, invaded Austria 3 times and seized the province of Silesia. Their victory ended Austrian domination over Germany, and for the next century, Prussia and Austria competed with each other, with the Austrians trying to reclaim their waning influence and the Prussians trying to destroy the bits of it that were left. But as they fought over whether the Prussian kings or the Habsburg Holy Roman Emperors would rule Germany,
that's a nice picture, though. That's very nice. I like the paints. It looks very nice.
Ended monarchy outright, for a little while at least, to the west of Germany in France. That didn't last long though, and in 1804 Napoleon Bonaparte restored monarchy to France and declared himself to be Emperor of the French. In response, Francis II, the Holy Roman Emperor and Archduke of Austria, not wanting to be seen as an equal to some upstart Frenchman, declared himself Emperor of Austria in addition to his Holy Roman title. But in late 1805, Napoleon defeated Francis II and his ally, the Russian Emperor Alexander I, at the Battle of Austerlitz, which allowed him to bring most of Germany under his influence by setting up a French puppet state, the Confederation of the Rhine. That caused a little bit of panic in the Austrian court, and there was a real fear there that Napoleon would crown himself Holy Roman Emperor and force Francis and Austria to accept him as their superior. So in 1806, Francis II abdicated as Holy Roman Emperor and simultaneously dissolved the empire entirely, though, importantly, he remained Emperor of Austria. Napoleon was eventually defeated, and in 1815 the Congress of Vienna redrew the map of Europe, establishing a new geopolitical order. To replace the old Holy Roman Empire, a loosely organized German confederation, which included all of the German states, was declared, with the Emperor of Austria as its president. But the various peoples of the German states, especially political liberals, were becoming more and more interested in the idea of a unified Germany, a German empire, rather than the decentralized confederation. There were 2 schools of thought on how to best achieve unification: the Greater German solution, supported by Austria, and the Lesser German solution, supported by Prussia. Oddly enough, each plan would have given most of the power within a unified Germany to the state that supported it. Go figure. The key difference between the 2 solutions was whether or not the Austrian Empire should be included within the new Germany. The
Austrian Empire was big, bro. It was not a little thing. It was big. Look at that land, bro. Even close to Italy. I mean, the Balkan, the Slavic countries. Oh my God, look at that territory, man. Just imagine if they figure out that stuff early, man.
What they should be, Prussia under Chancellor Otto von Bismarck thought they shouldn't. But that wasn't because the Austrians were somehow not German enough. Bavaria, which is culturally very similar to Austria, became a part of Germany just fine. The main issue was that the Austrian Empire ruled over a whole lot more people than just the Austrians. In fact,
Look at that. Wow, so even Ukraine were part of the Germans.
they made up well under half of the population.
Even Romania, the Poles, oh my god, it was a lot. Even Italians, for real?
While the German nationalists, arguing for unification in Prussia and elsewhere in northern Germany, wanted their new state to be, well, made up of Germans, and so they weren't interested in owning territory with majority populations of other cultures. In 1848, revolutionaries, mostly intellectuals, students, and the working class, attempted to crown the Prussian king, Friedrich Wilhelm IV, Emperor of Germany, but he refused a title offered to him by his political rivals. He also wasn't very keen on the liberal reforms, including freedom of speech and the press, demanded by the revolutionaries. They were put down by 1849, and the issue of German unification went unresolved for another 15 years, until Prussia and Austria jointly seized Danish Schleswig-Holstein, which had a mostly ethnic German population. In 1866, 2 years later, Bismarck's Prussia turned against Austria and began the Austro-Prussian War, which quickly ended with a massive Prussian victory. The German Confederation, headed by Austria, which had lasted since Napoleon's defeat, was destroyed by the Prussians, and in its place they created the North German Confederation, centered around themselves. In 1871, after another war, this time against France, the Prussians implemented the Lesser German solution in full, and formed the German Empire, with all of the German states as their subjects, except, as Bismarck had planned, for Austria. So Austria didn't become a part of the German Empire because it already ruled over an empire of its own, and the leader of the unifying Germans, Prussia, was Austria's fierce rival. But 45 years later, the German Empire and the newly reformed Austro-Hungarian Empire, the Austrians had to make concessions to their largest minority group, the Hungarians, in order to keep their empire together after the Austro-Prussian War, fought and, spoiler alert, lost together in World War I. The war saw the complete and utter destruction of the Austro-Hungarian Empire, leaving Austria in control of just Austria for the first time in centuries. So why not join the new German Republic, which had replaced the Prussian-dominated empire, then? Well, they tried to. The first republic in Austria called itself German Austria, and its leadership were eager to join with Germany. But the victorious allies of World War I weren't particularly happy to reward their conquered enemy with a new province, so they explicitly forbade Austria from unifying with Germany in the treaty that ended the war. Of course, in the early 1930s, Germany was taken over by a jerk with a silly moustache who isn't all that well known
I like that.
for respecting treaties or national borders. So in 1938, he sent German troops, unopposed, into his native Austria to ensure that a referendum on whether they should join Germany went the right way. Surprisingly not, with guns metaphorically to the Austrians' heads, it did, and Austria was annexed by Germany, marking the
I would just leave it like that. Boom. If I was Germany, keep it like that. Okay, that's it, bro. Keep it cool. Don't do anything. Let's just figure out how to build from here.
the only time in history when Germany proper and Austria were united under one.
Yeah, man, that's a big continental shift, bro. Look at that. How big is that? Let's go back a little bit. I want to see the map again. You see how big that is, man? You see how big that is? If I was mustache guy, I would just keep it like that. And figure out things are along the way, man. Of course, Pablo, not everybody's think like you, so.
Heads, it did, and Austria was annexed by Germany, marking the only time in history when Germany proper and Austria were united under one centralized government.
Not exactly a good one, though.
That lasted until 1945, when Germany was, quite rightly, defeated in World War II, and both Austria and Germany were split into occupation zones by the Allies. In 1955, Austria was reunified, and they've been an independent nation-state ever since.
Yeah.
If you want to know more about Austria...
That's a lot of history between those two countries, man. A lot of history. Is there any movement in Germany trying to unify those two countries? You guys are... I'm not saying that's a good idea, but because there's a lot of very mutual cultural similarities. Makes sense, right? But I think we don't have to do it like pointing guns, but like if that's in the future if they want to. I'm not saying it's a good idea, but I always wonder that, like, man, you guys have so much history, but then it's like thinking, why not Canada annex the United States or vice versa, right? It's the same culture almost, right? But yeah, I understand. I understand. I understand. I'm just putting it out. There's so many years of going back and forward. There has to be a middle ground where this thing has to just settle in a way like, you know what, man? We share similar cultures. Let's chill. Let's chill. Let's chill and just figure out this thing. But it seems like Germany was going through a lot during the 19th century, and then the 20th century just exploded, kind of thing. But clearly, they share a lot of similarities as ethnicity. That is right. Not as a race because race are humans. We are humans. But ethnicity. The German Anglo-Saxon. Oh, no, Anglo. You will say Anglo. No, I don't think so. That's not the word I'm looking for. I'm looking more for the German people, right, or the Austrian Germanic people, whatever you want to call it. I don't have the correct word. Is there a way the area can be unified without shooting guns? I'm just saying it doesn't have to happen. This is me just throwing things out there. I don't know. I don't know because you guys, again, the language is one. And it might be that it's not the same almost language, but it's very similar. Like it's like Germany already has so many places where people speak German in different ways. It's like that's not only in Germany because in the United States, if you go to the South, you go to Louisiana, to the Bayou, Louisiana, you try to speak English with these people, you will not understand. I can guarantee you, even people native Louisianans or whatever you call it, they are in the north of Louisiana, the state of Louisiana, they will not even understand those regions. So it's very common to just have a difference of accents inside the same language, right? Probably you go to South California, you hear English uh, into a more Hispanic flavor, or you go to South Texas, you're probably going to hear something similar. But then you go to the north of the United States, or you go more to Montana, you still have people speaking German with a very interesting accent to it, and they speak very differently as well. This all depends where you are. Man, very interesting, very interesting. I like to just enter more into the inside baseball when it comes down to Austria and Germany, but I'm just gonna leave it at that. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Now, always, I will see you in the next one. I'm out. Peace.